Thank you, Frank. And welcome to the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living on this second day of spring. It is beautiful here. I'm Maxine Kaye, the spiritual leader of this beloved community. And we're really happy that you came to be with us today. This is a special hour that we get to spend with you, with our friends, with people we may not even have met yet. And we are a very precious community, even though we've not met together for a while, and we're looking toward when we can be together again, which is a very hopeful spring kind of sign, isn't it? But we still stay connected because this is a place where we care about each other. It is a place where you are welcome, whatever your spiritual path may be, have been, or is ready to become. This just may be a place that feels comfortable to you because we love you already. You are welcome here, and we work together to bring heaven on earth in our own particular, beautiful, unique way. Because here we work together with spiritual tools that make a difference, a practical difference in our human lives. And we are here to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence and also to co-create a world that works for all. Now, if those things sound good to you, stick around. We would love to have you continue to be a part of our beloved community, because here we might even ask you to join me in saying our wonderful, powerful phrase, our power phrase, which is, and say it with me, living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. Thank you for being here. We're just revving up for a beautiful hour together. Now let's have an opening song. How about Karen Drucker with I Start My Day?
Good morning, everybody. We are going to start with I Start My Day, so if you could please stand up and join us. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, that's what I get more of is peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, that's what I get more of is peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, that's what I get more of is joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, that's what I get more of is joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love.
And that was lovely. Thank you so much. That was a pre-recording last year or so. that our music team presented for us, and they'll be doing it again at the right and perfect time. Now I think it's the right and perfect time for us to enter into our Sunday morning meditation time. This is the time that we just spend a few little minutes breathing deeply, relaxing, feeling the presence, allowing ourselves to enter into something really precious. So let's take a couple of deep breaths together, breathing in this beautiful new life, this wonderful springtime, the sunshine. Breathe it in and feel ourselves being renewed while we do. And then simply let that breath be exhaled, and we're sending life to life by doing that. We breathe in the sweetness of life, we breathe out the sweetness of life. And this divine circulation is our reality. So let's relax our bodies and still our minds, harmonize our emotions, and come sweetly into a place of peace and power, serenity and possibility. So as we enter into our hearts and feel our hearts beating rhythmically, realizing that the infinite intelligence of this universe is flowing through our physical body temple, we realize that we of ourselves do nothing. It is this infinite, loving, wise, and wonderful presence that continues to keep us well and healthy and vital and peaceful and powerful. As this divine life flows through our bodies, so it flows through our emotions and through our thoughts and brings us to a point of equilibrium where we live and breathe and have our being in divine harmony. Remembering who we truly are, recalling the unity of all life and our precious part in it as beautiful, brilliant, unique manifestations of that one life. And everything is being made new right now. So let's come deeply, even more deeply into our hearts and move into the sacred silence where we simply rest, feel ourselves loved and nurtured and guided, and perhaps even ask a question of the beloved. Come now into our silent time. Now let us simply feel the sweet vibration of the energy of life moving through us, nurturing, guiding, and opening us to newness today. Something beautiful is taking place within us in this sweet space, and all is well. And as we return, let's prepare for an opening prayer treatment by our practitioner intern, Cheryl Macklin.
Happy spring, everyone. My name is Cheryl Macklin, and I'm a practitioner intern for the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. I'm going to start today by sharing some of the words that Dr. Maxine shared with us this week in her From the Pen. Now that we find ourselves in the beautiful new season of spring, it is time for us to announce an expanded experience of greater living. It is in the pronouncement of a new mental equivalent in any and every area of our lives that we're identifying with Source and wisely utilizing the law of growth to our advantage. Let's not wait another moment to begin declaring our divine intention for ourselves and for the world. As we enter into the power of now, connecting deeply with our divine source of all good, the infinite possibilities begin rushing to us, often from unexpected avenues. As we speak our truth about love and abundance and wholeness and creative expression, the universe says yes. And what may have appeared to be a dream begins showing up as a delightful new order of living. I state our opening treatment today in the first person, and I invite you to take it for yourself. As I open to the energy of spring and new beginnings, I celebrate the one divine source expressing as everyone and everything I see. This one source is love and life and the divine creative urge manifesting in each now moment. I know that I am an expression of this infinite intelligence and unconditional love. I am a co-creator with the divine. In this season of newness and infinite possibilities, I choose to consciously plant new seeds. Seeds of joy, abundance, love, peace, and prosperity. I know that the point of creative power is this present moment. I open to experience the perfect loving presence of God, expressing through our Sunday celebration and through my life now. I welcome this blossoming of the new in my life with great gratitude and positive expectancy. As I release my word to the law, I let it be so, and so it is. Have a great spring.
Thank you, Cheryl. Let's say our affirmation together, shall we? I am made new by the renewing of my mind, living fully and successfully in this dynamic moment of now. Hi, kids, gather round. It's always good to be with you. Do you know the day is going to come, and it will be in 2021, whenever's the right time, that you're right here on the front row again, and we get to talk to each other and see each other, and eventually, you know what else we're going to get to do? We're going to get to hug each other. So in the meantime, let me give you just great big virtual hug. Oh, doesn't that feel good? It's spring. Don't you love it? It's beautiful. We are coming into our new season. We're here. Sure, we'll get a little more rain before all that is done, but you know that we live in a place here in Pennsylvania that is beautiful and green and filled with gorgeous trees and foliage because of the rain and the sun, of course. So here we are in a new time. Things are still uncertain, aren't they? Because some of you are going back to school, some aren't yet. Some are going a couple days a week, some are going more, and there's still a lot of virtual learning, as you've been doing for over a year now. That's a long time. But look what we have learned in this time. I mean, we're all Zoomers now, and it's a great thing. It's a beautiful tool to have. So when we get a little frustrated with, gee, we can't be with our friends right now, I'm bored, I'm tired, my parents are boring, when we are beginning to feel kind of like closed in, let's start to realize all the gifts, really, the gifts that this time has given us. You've had more time, many of you, with your parents to go for bike rides and things, yeah? And looking at the blessings is a very good idea. And also looking ahead to what is next for us. Let's start playing in the sunshine of our mind about what it's going to be like as we are more present with grandparents and friends and neighbors and schoolmates. Let's begin to play with that. It will really lift our hearts and help us move into this new time. This is a time to realize that love is the answer to every question, and that joy is presenting itself in new possibilities all around. in the song of birds, in the new flowers that we're going to see coming up soon. So play with me in the sunshine of mind, because that's what we're doing. And you know what happens when we do that? Because you understand that God is our source. You understand that the law of God responds to our thoughts and our feelings. So let's start planting some really good seeds. Okay, this is good. I'll see you next week, and it won't be terribly long. I just don't think it's going to be terribly long before we get to see you in person again. I love you. Have a good Sunday. Talk soon. Okay, gather around, adults. Of course, the March theme has been open to possibilities, and that follows our yearly theme from Centers for Spiritual Living, which is timeless wisdom, evolutionary vision. And we are dealing with that which is eternal and reliable and solid. And it's you and I who are in the process of creating a new vision, and this is a wonderful thing. So today's talk is a new season of life now. You know, spring is finally here. COVID numbers are reducing, and we're realizing there really is no reason to postpone our good. As we were sharing with the children, let's not wait another minute to start playing in the sunshine of our mind, to visualize that which we're ready to step into and move out of any dreary past or any sense of constriction. Universal creative intelligence awakened humanity to this point. And we've been given the golden key to move into the next steps in evolution. Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, says, "The evolution of humankind brings them arbitrarily to a place where true individuality functions. From that day, a further evolution must be through their conscious cooperation with reality." Conscious cooperation. That's the part that's extremely important for us, isn't it? We can't go along with whatever seems to be happening. We need to become very conscious. As we are conscious of the divinity that is within us, that is the truth of our being, that is our source, as we become conscious of the power that is within us, that is ours to use to make a difference in our lives, our loved ones' lives, and in the world itself, then we realize that we don't need to wait and we don't need hope for newness in our lives, because God is the ever-present now. God is the ever-present now. And when we step into our conscious awareness of the power of now, our unity with our source, we become unstoppable. Let's be unstoppable together, okay? We must cooperate consciously with the evolutionary process in order to reap such great rewards that are waiting for us. It's not just going to happen without our participating, without our setting the conscious intention to make a difference. We have that power. We are here to use it. We are here to do what is ours to do. And this means being wise enough and being loving enough and brave enough to expand our vision. Let's get a bigger vision, okay? The world's been too small. Our God has been too small, because it's the concept that we form, right? And it's been too small, and it's time to enlarge it. It's time to get a bigger God. It's time to move into a new possibility by visualizing and visioning that which we're ready to experience, something beyond the hate in this world. We can't pretend that's not happening. It's right there in our faces, isn't it? And so we're going to address that. Each day we need to address it without becoming absorbed in it. In Atlanta, I've seen stacks of bouquets that have been outside of the establishments where these Asian women were killed with the sign, "God bless diversity." Our president on Friday said, "There are simply some core values and beliefs that should bring us together as Americans. One of them is standing together against hate, against racism, the ugly poison that has long haunted and plagued our nation." Centers for Spiritual Living came up very recently with a statement of solidarity, and our own very, very precious Masando Hariyoko, who is at home office, and he's part of Mile High Center in Denver. He and his beloved wife, Rebecca, are both key figures in our home office. So loving, so wise, so young, and they're brilliant. And I want to start with the words of Ernest Holmes. "The more the world arms for war, the more certain it is that there will be war. Eventually, we shall understand that all human bondage is an invention of ignorance." Well, the Centers for Spiritual Living came up with this solidarity statement. "We acknowledge that violence against Asian and Pacific Islander communities has risen worldwide. We acknowledge the pain, trauma, and fear other communities worldwide may be experiencing as they become aware of the violence occurring in the Asian and Pacific Island communities. For this reason, we offer a call to spiritually motivated social action and invite you to join in solidarity with these communities. To promote understanding, tolerance, and compassion, we offer the resources below as starting points for all who seek to learn more. Furthermore, we offer this statement and spiritual mind treatment written by Reverend Masando Harioka. We're so grateful for all the hearts who are called to read and share this statement and recognize that at the very least, the simple act of reading this statement in prayer is an act of resilience, love of us in this sacred time that we're sharing on the planet together. And hope. Those who feel called to add their voice are invited to do so with a prayer of their own or a request prayer from the World Ministry of Prayer. And you can go to our home office in Denver in order to connect with them. We know this work is God's work, and so we take refuge in remembering that this healing is being supported by a power greater than ourselves. With each breath, with each fear, with each tear, with each rush of anger or swirl of confusion, we rest in the knowing that healing is happening within us and around us. And this is what Masando wrote. On Wednesday morning, we awoke to news of the largest mass shooting in the United States since the pandemic began. 8 people were shot and killed in 3 different locations, with 7 of those being women and 6 of those 7 being Asian American Pacific Islander. While the shooter's full motive is still being investigated, we recognize the intersectionality of sexism, misogyny, and racism present in these murders. It must also be noted that this tragedy occurred on the same day that a report was released showing a 150% rise in hate crimes against the Asian American Pacific Island people, and more than 3,800 incidents in the past year alone. Fear and trauma of this community are very present right now, and as an organization that believes in oneness and holds a vision of peace and human dignity for all, we stand in solidarity with this community and speak this prayer for the families that are mourning and more healing of the racism and violence that create suffering in the world. And this is his spiritual mind treatment. We come to the present moment in a place of sadness and mourning, of confusion and anger, and come to know that in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of these natural responses to tragedy and violence, the presence of the living Spirit, the divine, is still fully there. At the center of our being, providing a healing balm and a place where both grief and the healing that comes with that grief lives, moves, and has its being. We know the same healing energy is present for the families that have been directly affected by this tragedy, and we too know that the love we feel for our fellow AAPI brothers and sisters that are experiencing the collective trauma of this incident permeates out and surrounds and enfolds their hearts and minds. It is through this love and through the recognition of our oneness that we also stand and mourn in solidarity with the AAPI community and the trauma they've experienced in the past year since the pandemic began. We hold a place of safety, of strength, and of commitment to ensuring and upholding the safety and peace of all, giving special attention to our AAPI friends right now. And it is from this space we extend our prayer to our country and to the world, holding a place of healing from the ravages of separation, racism, misogyny, and the mindless acts that are birthed from hate and power over another. We hold a space for the collective healing that is being called forth from each one, and in this sacred time that we're sharing on the planet together, allowing our hearts to build bridges of understanding, of greater awareness, and of the mending of all our relations. We know this work is God's work, and of the mending of all our nations and relations. We know this work is God's work, and so take refuge in remembering that this healing is being supported by a power greater than ourselves. With each breath, with each tear, with each rush of anger or swirl of confusion, we rest in the knowing that healing is happening within and around us. And as we rest into that space, where grief, healing, and coming together can all take place at once, we give thanks for the heartbreaking that eventually settles into heart opening, and give thanks for the ways in which our hearts are able to be moved into an active inspiration to stand for one another. With love, with heartbreak, with togetherness, we say, Amen, and so it is. No matter how poisonous the environment, no matter the terrible behaviors, unthinkable, God is still our source, still present, and still moving through us in such a way that as conscious, creative beings, we allow the love that is the truth of our being to move out into the world, to touch and to bless and to heal and to lift all the people. We want to expand our vision. We must expand our vision. And we can't wait any longer. Let's start right today to expanding our vision into the eternal presence of harmony and unity. Bring light into the darkest places. We can do this, you see. I can remember many years ago when I did a prison ministry in Northern California. I would come in the springtime, and I would bring things in that people normally weren't allowed to, because the deputies got to know me and trust me well enough that they knew I wasn't sneaking in anything that was contraband. And I would bring in boughs of like cherry blossoms and other pink flowers at springtime to the men who never saw that except through a very small window looking out. And what a difference it makes to bring light and hope and possibility into the dark places. Of course, in the fall, I would bring in autumn leaves, as much as they have in California. It's nothing like we have here, but to bring something beautiful from nature to those who are separate and isolated from it. We do the same thing with our prayer. We do the same thing with our good hearts. We do the same thing when we are consciously creating a new vision that includes everyone and does not include hate and does not include anger. Of course we feel angry when things take place, but let that anger be revelatory, where it reveals to us, as Emma Curtis Hopkins would say, awareness is curative. And it helps us become aware that something is amiss. This is not God's intended plan for its beloved humanity. Not at all. Here we get to make new choices. Let the anger be there just long enough for us to recognize something's out of place. We're going to substitute that for peace, for healing, for love. It's time that we awakened to our true identity, align with our divine purpose, and walk forward in faith, arm in arm. We read in 1 John 3, Beloved, now we are the children of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. Now in the Bible we typically read that as now we are the sons of God. But I discovered during my days of studying Greek that the word for boys or sons and children is exactly the same. I don't know why they chose sons instead of children. Beats me. But what we know is we are all the offspring. We are each and every one the individualized manifestation, so unique, so beautiful, and yet so rooted in our oneness. And it doth not yet appear what we shall be. When does it appear? It appears when we take each evolutionary step toward recognizing who we truly are and who all of our brothers and sisters are as well. So first, we begin to see ourselves as divine beings. And then we're able to look out and look past the ignorant behaviors of people upon whom their divinity has not yet dawned. That's really what it is, ignorant of their divinity. And so we begin to be courageous enough, courageous, from the heart. Courageous enough, brave enough, wise enough, loving enough, compassionate enough to be able to see beyond the behaviors to the divinity that they've not even yet awakened to. Do you think this is an easy task? No. But do you think it's an essential task? I do. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, speaking of the tree of life, I want to share something with you that one of my beloved inspiration people shared with me many, many years ago. This is Sri Eknath Iswaran. He came to Berkeley on a Fulbright in the 60s from southern India. And he fell in love with these crazy kids. And he taught them meditation. And he developed a community there. It's still present. I have gotten to know many of these beautiful people. So Sri Eknath Iswaran wrote years ago, Sri Krishna declares in the Bhagavad Gita that sages speak of the immutable tree of life, with its taproot above and its branches below. This image is one of the most magnificent in the Gita. The tree of life has its root above because it comes straight from the consciousness of God. It is rooted completely in God. The branches are below, here on earth. Their countless leaves are the billions of creatures in this world, including animals, birds, insects, plants, and human beings. Most of this tree is not physical. The whole phenomenal universe, matter, energy, and mind, is only its canopy of leaves. This is all we can see. But each leaf grows from a twig, which grows from a branch, which in turn grows from a vast trunk. And supporting the trunk and all its leaves and twigs and branches completely hidden is the taproot, extending deep into pure being. Farthest from the root is the world of multiplicity and change. Countless little leaves, but the taproot of this tree is the Lord, the eternal, changeless self. The application of this tremendous image is personal and practical. As long as we live on the surface of life, we believe we are separate individual leaves. We lead private lives that bear no relation to the rest of the tree, even though even when we are cut off from that tree and we know then we have no life. Look at the problems that face the world today because of this crude superstition that we are separate. We have violence in our streets and homes because individuals value no one's welfare but their own. We have poverty and war around the globe because nations and corporations pursue private ends without regard to cost to others. Most poignantly of all, we see men, women, and even children cutting themselves off from others around them so they can pursue what they want without hindrance. When we're driven by self-will like this, we cannot imagine we are forfeiting the whole of life for the little leaf we call our individual personality. It is because we assume we are insignificant private individuals that we sometimes feel the need not to be concerned about our family's welfare or the society in which we live. I'm just a leaf. We may be tempted to think, so what can I do? It matters even if one person drops out, just as it matters if one person makes a contribution. We are not leaves. We are expressions of the living God that are showing up as all kinds of delicious, beautiful leaves. But belief in the leaf only is surface living. At that point, we're not aware of our divine source. And this creates animosity and otherness and lack of trust. In Genesis, we read about two trees, right, in the Garden of Eden. One is the tree of life. The other is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It is the knowledge of duality. And human beings picked that one up right away. They started with that apple, and they haven't stopped chewing on it since. It's about polarity. That's how things come into being, but not duality. There's one life, one power, one presence. It is divine. There is none other. But we've made things up because we were given the power of choice as to how we use this creative power. And some of us have used this vast intelligence in a very unintelligent way. We didn't know any better. We're waking up. Let's cut ourselves a little slack here and realize we are learning as we go along. It's just like this last year when we had to learn to do things so differently, virtual rather than physical. And it's like we have been learning how to fly a plane while we're flying the plane. And that's what we're doing. But what we do know is that we have never been abandoned by the conscious, living, loving, wise, and wonderful Spirit of God itself. We are returning to that awareness and realizing we can now make our decisions and set our new intentions and our new vision from a place of divine power. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. Ernest Holmes says, ignorance stays with us until the day of enlightenment. Until our vision toward the Spirit broadens and casts out the image of a no longer useful littleness. What we now experience, we may cease experiencing if we have the will and the imagination to set our vision in an opposite direction and to hold it there. Buckminster Fuller, many years ago, said, we are like infants crawling around on the floor of the universe. We're in the process of awakening to our spiritual magnificence. We're in the process of becoming conscious beings who are in harmony and in step with the forward movement of the divine human evolution. So let's stop postponing our good. It's spring. Our hearts are lighter. Can't help but smile when you walk into a garden shop and see people purchasing beautiful flowers for their decks and for their gardens, and there's new hope. There always is new hope in springtime. And so let's seize this moment to do the real work. Beloveds, now is the season of our new life, our new world, our deeper divinity, our greater humanity, and I'm signed, sealed, and delivered to do what is mine to do. So let's step into this new world with confidence, with joy, with joy. It's up to you and me and everybody else in the world. Will you say with me, I am ready for a new season of love. I am made new by the renewing of my mind. I live fully in this dynamic moment of now. Let's open our hearts wider than we ever have before. Let's let our minds expand into infinite possibilities that include brotherhood, sisterhood, a world that truly, truly does work for all. Let's bring love to the places where hate has been. Let's bring unity to those experiences that have been separated out. And we are not the leaf. We are an expression of the living God. We are rooted in God, rooted in truth, rooted in the divine presence. And so, my beloveds, beginneth our lesson. Now, before we go into our offertory today, I would like to invite the president of the board of the Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, Karen Davis, to bring us a special message. Karen?
Hello, my name is Karen Davis. I am your board president here with an announcement about GPCSL's reopening plans. The news from the federal, state, and local governments, as well as the CDC, keeps getting better and better with regard to the opportunity to return to in-person activities, and we are so excited. Your Board of Trustees has thoughtfully considered the regulations and guidelines and made our decision each month on how to proceed specifically with our beloved community in mind. We are eager to return to in-person operations to share the joy and love that has been pent up for the past year. We continue to carefully weigh the consequences, both intended and unintended, of opening up. At our March board meeting, we decided to continue remote operations for the month of April. However, we will be using that time to finalize our plan to open as soon as the risks are mitigated as much as possible by the vaccination distribution and the continued drop of the positivity rate in our local area. One specific area of effort is focused on creating the physical infrastructure to be able to hold live celebrations that can simultaneously be live streamed. We will be working out the logistics of making this happen so that those who seek to live, love, and learn with our community can choose to do so remotely or in person. Additionally, with guidance from CSL Home Office, we are preparing plans for cleaning, spacing chairs for social distancing, contact tracing, and other measures. All of this planning and prepping will be going on throughout the month of April. If you are interested in serving the community by participating in these activities, either as a one-time activity or an ongoing committee, please send Linda an email at admin@cslphilly.com or call the office at 610-695-0375 and let her know. At this time, we are not definitively stating that we will resume in-person operations on May 2nd. We must continue to monitor the situation on a month-by-month basis. However, our intention is to be ready to open back up when it is safe to do so, whether that means May 2nd or after. We are so very grateful for your continued support of GPCSL. Your generous financial contributions, your virtual attendance through Facebook and YouTube, and most especially, your positive consciousness with regard to navigating these turbulent times are greatly appreciated. With your support, GPCSL will remain a beacon of light, offering inspiration, wisdom, joy, peace, power, and light to all who seek it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That's inspirational, isn't it? It's a wonderful thing to begin to envision our being together again at the right and perfect time. Now is the time of our offertory. How we love celebrating the abundance that is given to us every moment of every day. How beautiful it is to share it with our closest source of spiritual food. So as we gather our gifts together, perhaps virtually, let's imagine we're holding something beautiful in our hearts and we're ready to share it with our Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living beloved community. Let's say together our prosperity celebration affirmation. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with this center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly, and I am prospered, and so it is.
Now is all we got, now is all there is. Right now, right here, right now. Woo! Of time. Right now, this is your destiny. All you see, yeah, it was meant to be. Right now, give it all you got to give. Just live, this is all there is. Right here, right now, from the stars to the ground, all around, life is going down. Right now, right now. Stop. The night now, let yourself go, stomp your feet, clap your hands and make some noise. Do the dance of joy. Free your mind from the night now. Let yourself go, stomp your feet, clap your hands and make some noise. Do the dance of joy. Free your mind from the night now. Let yourself go, stomp your feet, clap your hands and make some noise. Do the dance of joy. Free your mind from the night now. Let yourself go, stomp your feet, clap your hands and make some noise. Do the dance of joy. Do 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 the dance of joy. Do 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 well, do 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 the dance of joy. Don't do 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 the dance of joy. Yeah, it's all happening right here, right now. Now it's all we got happening right now, right now, right here, right now. It's all happening right now. From the time it's all happening right now.
Good morning and happy spring, everyone. My name is Elise and it is my pleasure to present today's announcements. And we welcome you from wherever you are viewing this from all around the world. We always have such interesting Sunday celebrations and inspiring talks. And in case you missed any, you can always go to our website and view them along with Reverend Mike and Dr. Maxine's daily love notes. To do that, just go to www.cslphilly.org. And there you can just watch all kinds of archived wonderful videos. And before I continue, I want to say, Dr. Maxine, thank you so much for your beautiful and inspiring talk this morning. We love you. Now on with our daily news here. We will be holding a special Good Friday live stream at noon on April 2nd. We invite you to watch it then, or you can view it later at your convenience on our YouTube channel and access our archived video file. We also have a special request for you this week. We will be doing a special virtual bountiful bouquet ceremony on Easter Sunday, which our fabulous live stream producer Jeff Messina will create for us. We are asking that you take a photo or a video of your favorite flower and then send it to Jeff by way of text, email, or by uploading it to his special online homepage. Or you can go to our website calendar and click on March 18th, and you'll see all the instructions on how to do this. And please note that if you want to submit a flower for a bountiful bouquet, you have to do it by Friday, March 26th. It's going to be so pretty. And now I got some classes to tell you about. If you want to discover how consciousness creates experience, Rev Mike is teaching Thomas Troward's Edinburgh lectures online beginning Saturday, March 27th from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The class will run for 8 to 10 weeks depending upon the depth of the discussions. The Edinburgh lectures had a profound effect on the growth of the science of mind teaching, and it articulated the laws by which consciousness is created. While this is an accredited class, Rev Mike is teaching it on a love offering basis. Everyone is welcome to attend and contribute whatever amount that you feel good about. For those desiring credit for the course, though, it is requested that your contributions total $245 or more. Reverend Mike is making use of his free, the Troward Reader, the Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science. In addition to this reader, the only other thing that you need for this class is a pencil or a pen and a mind that is open to spiritual growth. To register, please go to our events calendar and click on March 27th's class link. All right, are you ready to experience more balance, deeper serenity, and a greater spiritual awareness? Are you willing to remain peaceful in challenging times and situations? Would you like to feel clearer, be more conscious, and experience deeper spiritual exploration? Well, if so, Dr. Maxine is offering a 6-week virtual meditation and serendipity class beginning on Tuesday, April 6th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a love offering class, and the only actual cost is a one-time fee of $10 for the downloadable materials that we will be using. And now we have Frank Henninger to tell you about his 2 Saturday workshops that he will be offering. Take it, Frank.
Now, Frank Henninger is offering 2 3-hour Saturday workshops, and here he is for more details.
Thank you and good morning. I am Frank Henninger, and I'd like to announce 2 workshops that I will be teaching soon for GPCSL using the Zoom platform. Both of these are being offered for your consideration to promote your spiritual health and expand your awareness of the good things you experience every day. The first workshop is entitled Writing Haiku, a Japanese mindfulness practice, being offered on Saturday, April 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. I developed this workshop after a creativity assignment required for one of the graduate courses I had during my time in the Holmes Institute Masters in Consciousness Studies program. Once I started writing haiku poems 2 years ago, I've written over 160 in the classical 3-line 5-7-5 syllabic format. In this workshop, I will teach that classical format as well as other less structured modern formats, with plenty of these are being offered for your consideration to promote your spiritual health and expand your awareness of the good things you experience every day. The first workshop is entitled Writing Haiku, a Japanese mindfulness practice, being offered on Saturday, April 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. I developed this workshop after a creativity assignment required for one of the graduate courses I had during my time in the Holmes Institute Masters in Consciousness Studies program. Once I started writing haiku poems 2 years ago, I've written over 160 in the classical 3-line 5-7-5 syllabic format. In this workshop, I will teach that classical format as well as other less structured modern formats, with plenty of examples. Here is a sample haiku that I wrote during a morning walk. Golden and copper, what treasure is this ahead? Red-tail hawk feather. You will finish this workshop having started writing haiku and on the path to what is called the haiku mind. The second workshop is entitled Spirit Notes, Journaling for Personal Growth, and this is being offered on Saturday, April 17th from 1 to 4 p.m. We will review dozens of styles of journal writing, barriers to writing, solutions to those barriers, and other journaling strategies. Many people are familiar with classic journaling techniques such as daily diary or a gratitude journal, but have you ever heard of the placemat technique or the 4 Watts? You will finish this workshop having learned many new journaling techniques and with a new appreciation of and motivation for personal journaling. These workshops require no prior experience. Both are offered on a love offering basis payable to GPCSL. Advanced registration is required to receive the Zoom link and the student materials in advance of the workshop dates. There are no required books for these workshops, except for the student materials that I will send to you. I hope to see many of you in class on these dates. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Your classes sound so cool. Whoever talks about haikus or all the various ways there are to journal? That's really nice, and we're so grateful that you're offering this for us. Thank you, Frank. And to register for any of these classes that I've talked about, please go to our calendar at cslphilly.org and click on the start date for the registration link. Or please contact Linda at the office or email her at admin@cslphilly.com. And I'd also like to remind you that Rev Mike's ongoing Science of Mind textbook study group is on Zoom each Saturday from 9:45 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can jump in for this free love offering class whenever you have a chance. And to register for this study group, either call the office or email Linda, again at admin@cslphilly.com. And finally, do you have social media experience in 1 hour per week to help increase our online presence? If so, we are looking for a few people who can lend a hand in any of these areas. Posting on local newspapers and posting on Facebook, Meetup, Instagram, and other platforms. For more details, please contact Tina Richards at 267-773-9773 or email her at tr_richards@yahoo.com. Thank you so much. Again, happy spring. Have a beautiful springtime. And as always, Peace, love, and abundant blessings to you. Namaste.
Elise, you are such a delight. It's like you're wearing those cherry blossoms everywhere you go. Isn't she wonderful? We adore our Elise Riggs. Thank you, thank you. And now we're going to have our closing song by Amy Steinberg called Flying on Faith.
You could go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging in the dirt, you could stress on the strife, but I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith, flying on faith. I'm flying on faith, faith. You could cry all night about the things that you hate, so dissatisfied in so many ways, but I'm gonna find a way to celebrate today. On faith, I'm flying on faith, picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back, because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You could hurry, full of worry, let the fear take you out, imagining the worst, overcome with doubt. There's no way to know, knowing is the only way today. I'm flying on faith, I'm flying on faith. Picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back, because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with stars up in my face today, I'm flying on faith, I'm flying on faith, You could go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging in the dirt, you can stress on the strife, but I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith.
And so we give thanks for the beloved presence that continues to guide us through every experience, moving into the awareness that we are more than leaves. We are conduits of the loving, living Spirit Almighty. For this and much more, we give thanks, and so it is.